Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Paige and today we're going to do the 20 questions book tag. I feel like I haven't done a tag in a while. I probably have, but I don't think I did one in the month of July because I started to do them very often, so I thought, okay, I won't do one in July. No, I didn't do one in August, sorry. I'm thinking this month is August, but it's not. This month is September. Anyway, we're already off to a bad start with this intro. But basically, just gonna go through my opinions on some bookish habits, actual books, you know, just these random 20 questions. It's a 20 questions book tag, what more can I say? This tag was created by Baidu Books on Goodreads, and honestly I really quite like this tag. I thought the questions were really interesting, and other than like the booktube newbie tag and stuff, I haven't really done anything like this. Might be a good way to get to know some like weird bookish things about me. Do like and subscribe if you are new here. I post bookish content twice a week and there's no shortage of it. I'm not going to stop anytime soon, so you may as well check out some of the other stuff, stick around, you know. You never know, we might become besties, okay? We should probably just jump into the questions now because my brain apparently has failed today. So the first question in this tag is, how many books is too many in this series? Now, personally I think any more than 4 is a bit daunting and kind of overwhelming. Of course, if you're in the mood for like a long running series, then probably want more than 4. But let's just say in general, 4 is probably the cutoff point. However, I wouldn't say that seeing a series with a load of books in that series has been a deal breaker or put me off from reading it. I don't think I really look at the amount of books in a series and go, not gonna read that because there's so many. The only time that has occurred is with like Vampire Academy and Black Dagger Brotherhood series, which have like 15 or whatever. But you know, like more longer running series, I wouldn't say I'm particularly put off by. However, even like trilogies have been really annoying me lately, and I do want to get more into reading some standalones because I feel like I've read so many trilogies, and I feel like I've done a lot of rants on this channel about things in trilogies and their endings that really get on my nerves and have been annoying me lately. So I think maybe I need a bit of a break from trilogy. So if any of you have any like fantasy or YA standalones, do please leave them down below because I'm looking for some. How do I feel about cliffhangers? I don't see what's not to like about them, really. I've never really thought about it before. I guess I don't really have an opinion on them. I would say that they need to work. You can't try and force a cliffhanger because the reader can tell, and it just kind of ruins it. However, if the cliffhanger works, you've been setting it up for the whole book, you get there. A cliffhanger can really save a book. If a book's been like a solid 3-star, it could be bumped up to a 4 out of 5 with a really good cliffhanger. But if you're gonna do a cliffhanger, you need to make sure that the resolution to that cliffhanger is top notch. Otherwise it's going straight back down to it like a 2-star. But yeah, I wouldn't say that cliffhangers are inherently bad, or I do or don't like them. It depends on the setting and whether they work or not. That's kind of a weird question. Hardback or paperback? I have very mixed feelings about this. I own mostly paperback because it's cheaper. And like a really, really floppy paperback is sexy, okay? Like if you're just reading a paperback and it's like, it just flops. It's truly sexy. You can't get a sexier book than a really floppy paperback to read. However, hardback books I think look nicer, and it's easier to have more organised looking shelves and nicer looking bookshelves when you own mostly hardback, because the sizes will tend to match up, especially in terms of like depth. Paperback books can vary greatly and it's very annoying when you have like books that are kind of going in and out on your shelves. Don't get that so much with hardbacks. But if I am going to read a hardback, the dust jacket has to come off whilst I'm reading it because the dust jacket drives me insane. It just like slips, it really gets on my nerves. So the next question is my favourite book. I don't really have a favourite book. I have like series that I would have on a list of favourites, but a favourite book. The only one that really comes to mind for this is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is like a magical realism fantasy kind of standalone about a night circus, and these 2 wizards have like a tournament each year to decide who's the best wizard, and the 2 like tributes one year fall in love, and I really, really, really loved this book. It's definitely up there in my favourites. It is definitely up there for me. This book and Erin Morgenstern's books in general get a lot of hate on BookTube. A lot of people really don't like her writing. I'm not one of those people. I really, really love this book, and because everyone hates it, I feel like I need to put it in this video to give it some love. And following on from that, the next question is my least favourite book. And my least favourite book that's like, I'm trying to do standalones for this because it says book, not series. So my least favourite book that is like a standalone is Just One Year by Gail Forman. This is the sequel to Just One Day. I remember a period of time when Gail Forman books were all anyone talked about on BookTube. Does anyone else remember that? Just One Day I loved. It's basically about this boy and this girl, and I believe they meet in Paris and they just spend one day together and then they kind of lose each other, they lose touch, and it's just about her like trying to get to the bottom of where this guy went, what on earth happened, and yeah, just about two people having like a really like serendipitous, wonderful romantic day together, and it's just left there. And this book is kind of about her like finding him. I think it's told from his perspective. I don't really think Just One Day needed a sequel. I thought the beauty of Just One Day was that they spend just one day together and we get just one book. There was a symmetry there and I really appreciated that as a reader, and I thought that kind of made it mean more. So to get a sequel I thought was just a bit demeaning to the original plot, and I found this really boring. It just didn't need to exist. Really didn't. The next question is funny, and you'll see why in a minute. Because the next question is, love triangles, yay or nay? May I point you in the direction of my book tropes I hate video? That's all I'm gonna say. A book that I am currently reading. Technically I'm still reading House of Hades by Rick Riordan. Haven't picked it up in months. Not taking it to uni with me. Don't plan on reading it before I go to uni. But it still has my bookmark in it, so I'm technically still reading it. Every now and again I go, yeah, I'm halfway through that book, maybe I should finish that. I won't, not anytime soon anyway. Most recent book I couldn't finish. The Royal Companion by Tanya Bird. I attempted to read this for my historical romance taste test video, and this book just had no idea what it wanted to be. This was more of a fantasy than a historical romance. I felt like I was reading a Wattpad book. It's basically about these women that are trained to be companions for men in the royal family. And of course, our main character gets the one that's different and doesn't just want to use her as a sex slave, whatever. I thought it was really anti-feminist and just annoying to read, and definitely was not a historical romance, so couldn't get through that one at all. The next question is the last book I recommended to someone. I really don't have an answer for this. I have no clue when I last recommended a book to someone, who it was, or what that book was. So let me just point you in the direction of my backlog of videos, because they're technically recommendations. I have a whole reading recommendations playlist if you want to go check that out. So the next question is, what is the oldest book that I've read by publication date? Now this was kind of a difficult one for me to work out. I think it's a pretty safe guess. The oldest book that I've read by publication date is The Histories by Herodotus. Herodotus is basically the first historian, and it's just his accounts of different cultures and civilizations and history that occurs during the Greek time. Now this obviously was not published a very long time ago, this particular copy. According to Google, The Histories was first published in some capacity in 425 BC. So I think it's a pretty safe guess that this would be the oldest book I've read by publication date. I also didn't particularly love this, but I want to give it a reread because I really want to understand it, and I didn't. I understood book one, and then after that my brain said nah. And the next question is the newest book I've read by publication date. The newest book that I've read by publication date, again at a guess, I wasn't going to go through every single book I've read and look at their publication date. I'm pretty sure it's The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, which is the prequel to The Hunger Games, which is basically a President Snow evil origin story. I'm still waiting for it to get the redemption arc that it deserves. I'm still waiting for you to stop sleeping on it and wake up and realise that it's the closest YA dystopian is ever going to get to perfection. My favourite author. I wouldn't say I have a favourite author. Like, I don't just go around thinking, oh yeah, this person's my favourite author. I would say the closest I have would be Cassandra Clare, but I wouldn't say I particularly love her or like think she's some amazing writer. I just know that when she releases a book, I'll buy it, because I want to have her full collection at this point, and also I know I do enjoy her stories. I wouldn't say she's like a favourite, she's just probably the only author that I would immediately go out and buy her book without really looking into what it's about. Do I like to buy books or borrow books? Buy books. I mean, if everyone had that option and like unlimited money, surely everyone would choose buying the books. I don't want to fall in love with a book that I don't own. I can always tell myself, yeah, I'll repurchase them, but when I'm going to buy a book, if it's between that book and a book that I haven't read yet, I'm not going to convince myself to purchased the book that I've already read over one that I haven't. I have gotten a little bit better about my snobbiness. I don't know, I'm funny about borrowing books. I like my books to be, you know, clean and mine, and I know what's been touching them and what's on them and whether they're dirty, but I'm getting better. I have like joined a library for like the first time ever, and I'm actually starting to borrow books. And the next one is, you're just not even going to be surprised. A book that I dislike that everyone else seems to love. Sorry, Madeline Miller, I really don't like your books. This is just a character study with no plot point whatsoever, and this is just a regurgitation of Homer with no creativity or real romance whatsoever. It's a thing within the mythology reading community that these are top tier, and I don't feel that way. The next question is, do I prefer bookmarks or like dog-earing my books and like folding down pages and stuff? You tell me. I just like to collect bookmarks. This isn't nearly all of them. I'm planning on doing a full bookmark collection at some point. A book I can always reread. I think this is kind of a stupid question, because I can always reread every book. I guess, like, it means a book that I never struggle to reread or anything like that, but again, I wouldn't say I struggle to reread any book. But for the purpose of answering the question, I'm gonna go Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. It's just cozy and sweet and comforting and just always puts me in a creative mood, so that one. Or if I'm like really in a pinch, like I don't have any book on me to read at all, which never happens, but let's say it did, I'd probably go back to reading Cassandra Clare's books, because there's just so many of them and the story is so creative and it's such a throwback for me, you know, like I read it when I was like 10 to 12, so going back to that point in time, that would be fun. I would enjoy that. Can I read with music on? I can, and I sometimes will if I want to be like really aesthetic, or if it's like pouring down with rain outside, like to the point where I can hear it pattering against the glass. I like put on my rainy day playlist and put my essential oil diffuser on and read a book. Those kind of aesthetic days I will read and listen to music at the same time. But for the most part, I'm a read in silence or read with background TV kind of person. I really like music and I will often get distracted by it. I just have to be in a certain headspace to do both at the same time. Do I prefer one point of view or multiple point of views? Kind of like the cliffhanger question. Does anyone have a true opinion on this, like a real strong opinion? They've actually thought about this in their spare time and thought, I wouldn't say it makes a difference to the quality of the book or how I rate it, whether it's one point of view or multiple. Of course, there are some books where I don't think the multiple point of view works, but it's not a general thing. I don't think you can just generally say, oh, I don't like books with multiple point of views. I like both, and I wouldn't say that either makes a difference to the book as long as it works for the genre that one is writing in. Do I tend to read a book in one sitting or in multiple days? If anyone can just answer this question without elaborating, you are cool. I want to be friends with you. That's pretty cool. It depends on the day or the book or my mood. It depends on everything. There are days when I can read a whole series in a day, but then there's other books or there's other days where it takes me weeks to get through them. The second book in the All Souls trilogy took me forever, weeks and weeks to read that book. First one, read it in 2 days. It made no sense. And the final question is, who do I tag to do this video? I tag whoever the hell wants to do the video. Just do it. You don't need to be tagged. I do tags without being tagged in them all the time. I wasn't tagged in this tag. How many times can I say tag? No, I'm not gonna tag anyone specific. Just do it if you want to do it. I'm also, does anyone else get like shy when doing tags and it comes to tagging people? I'm like, I can tag you, but I don't know if we know each other well enough for me to tag you. And what if you don't watch the video and see my tag? Well, what if you do and then I'm just awkward. Oh, my brain is a mess today. So please do the tag if you want to do the tag. I'm too scared to actually tag someone. Anyway guys, thank you very much for watching this video, especially if you've made it this long. Thank you for wanting to get to know me a little bit more. We will be back to like regular, normal bookish content soon. I've actually planned out the videos for the month. I know, I never usually plan this far in advance, but I have. So you can get ready for some exciting videos that are actually planned and well thought out. I'm finally getting my life together. Do subscribe to stick around and see those, you know, planned videos. Let me know down below if you've tagged yourself and you're going to do this video, or if you have done this video, let me know. I'll check them out. I love getting to know people, and hopefully maybe I can make friends with someone to the point where I'm not actually scared to tag them in the future. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.